This video should be pretty short because it's really just piggybacking on what we discussed in the last video. Not sure why that floor is turned yellow, but it has. We can leave it as is for now. There we go. So basically what I did in the break here is I forgot to mention is that you want to always label your toolpaths, right? We want to let the operator know what we're doing here. So rough the main pocket. You can see that shows up right here. For that one I did rest machine the main pocket and then finish the main pocket walls. Okay, so our approach for this outer open pocket is very similar. So let's go ahead and we'll create a dynamic mill toolpath once again. Alright, so my machining region, I'm actually going to do a little different chaining method here. I'm actually going to select the face right here. So I'll select the face there. It's going to be my machining region. Alright, I want to do from outside here. Now if I do that and I just go ahead with this, it's going to actually machine this, and then it's going to machine, you know, some of this wall, however much, and that's not what we want. So what we want to do is actually put in an avoidance region, tell it what not to cut. So right here, I can either select the face or I can select the chain here. I'll go ahead and select the face just for the heck of it, and we'll OK that, and we should be good to go. Now I want to use, you know, the same tool that I've already got in my tool spindle. So I'm going to use my 3/8 here. Let me comment here, rough the open pocket. Okay, so very much the same process as before. We go into our cut parameters and we have the same screen. One thing to make note of here in Mastercam, as default, Mastercam, if you create another toolpath with, you know, the same style toolpath, dynamic mill here, and we have some previous ones of that, it's going to actually import all of the previous cut parameters, depth cuts, etc. So you want to make sure that you make certain that you're not stepping over too much for roughing operations. We want to set this, maybe we'll do 15%. Right here we've got 5 thou to leave on the walls, and as far as the floor goes, you don't really need to leave anything because that's quite a small amount of area, and it should leave just a fine finish. For entry motion, you don't really have to worry about that because, again, it's going to be approaching from down here outside of the cut. And our linking will do the same exact thing. It looks correct already because we selected right here, which is 0.5 from the origin to that plane. So just to be sure, I'll double check there. Good to go. Alright, so now we've got a toolpath that looks to be pretty much correct. There we go. Fit this to my screen here. Alright, so as you can see, pretty good looking toolpath. So let's backplot that and we'll play through it. Once again, my mouse clicky buttons are not showing up. You know, I can see that tool holder. It's kind of bothersome when I'm looking at it from a top-down view. So why don't we turn that off? We can click this icon, display the holder, turn that off, go back into a top view, and we can see what this toolpath is going to do. So plunging down, and then it's peel milling. You can see that 15% step over. So there we are. And once you get the hang of using these dynamic toolpaths, it's pretty easy to just kind of click and go, as the the software here is quite intuitive and intelligent. Once you've got some of the basics down, it is stock aware and it knows kind of what you're trying to do. So we left that 5 thousandths on the wall, and just like the big pocket here, we want to finish that with a simple contour. So I'm going to go ahead and right click in here and choose a contour toolpath here. Now for selecting this, I don't want to select the whole entire thing here. So what I tend to do with this process here is, you got a couple options. I've been having issues with linking edges or partial loops here, so I just want to choose edges. Okay. So now I'll choose my starting edge. Remember, we want to be going in a clockwise motion, so that would be right to left here. I'll select this first edge, the starting point. Alright, so you see these arrows. The green is obviously the cutting direction. The blue arrow is if I want to actually go down this way, I can do that. Right? If I wanted to, say, go down here, go back up maybe, and in some more complex parts, that feature actually comes in quite handy. For this, we don't need to worry about it. If I did want to go down there, I can either click that blue arrow, or I can do this, adjust, and that's going to put the red arrow down there, and that's going to allow me to then go next, and that's going to allow me to follow. So wherever that red arrow is pointing is where your next segment is going to be. I don't want that, so I can back up here, where I can actually go previous, and now I just want to continue following that red, so all the way here until the end. Alright, there's my chain. I could also select it down here if I wanted. Okay, we're going to go ahead and use the same 3/8 flat end mill, and we'll type in finish the open pocket walls. Alright, cut parameters, don't need to adjust anything there. Lead in, lead out, should be okay. And then we will just check our linking and set a depth. Perfect. Alright, and there is our finishing toolpath. Why not go ahead and run a verify on all of the toolpaths here. Press our play. Okay, so we're looking good here. All of our main features have been dealt with, and they look good. Now, one thing that I should have mentioned is this is kind of a little bit of a cluttered looking screen here, right? I've got a lot of toolpaths going on, and let's say I don't like that, right? So there's a quick turn on and off all the toolpaths. You can simply press Alt-T. That's going to toggle those on and off. And then you can also, this does the same thing, toggle display on selected operations, same function there. Now let's say this might not be on as default, but I usually run Mastercam with this engaged, only display the selected toolpaths. So if I turn that off and I only select face the part, it's still displaying all of my toolpaths, which to me I don't like. So I want to actually turn on that, and then only is going to show what I've got selected. If I want to select multiple, I can control click, select each toolpath, or if I want to select a couple in a row, shift click, that's going to select all of those contained in there. Remember that green arrow checkbox right there? That is indicating that that toolpath is selected. So you might have to click out of a toolpath, click back into it to actually select it if you're finding that it won't select automatically. Okay, so in our next video, we're going to go over finishing this part here with these holes. Okay, so there's actually a 3-step process for tapping holes, which I will go over in the next video. And in the following final video, we're going to go into finishing the breaking the edges here with a chamfer mill, and then how to flip it over and face that part off, and then we'll have a complete part. See you next time.